census important foundation for country's development planning. Travel between Malaysia and Singapore to be known next month. Welcome to Updates at Noon on TV2 with me, Renee Fong. Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin urges Malaysians to give full cooperation so that Census 2020 will be a success despite Malaysia still facing COVID-19 pandemic. According to him, the population and housing census conducted every 10 years gives an accurate picture of the country's current demographics, which will serve as a source of reference and important foundation for the country's development planning. The Premier said through the census, the size, distribution, composition and socio-economic characteristics of the people and housing in Malaysia can be identified. Tan Sri Muhyiddin said the information provided through the census will shape the lives of future generations, leading the country to greater heights.
Melaluinya, setiap perancangan dasar kerajaan yang dibuat dapat difokuskan kepada pembangunan ekonomi dan pengagihan kekayaan negara kepada semua peringkat lapisan masyarakat tanpa mengira etnik, pendapatan dan rantaian. Pengurusan negara merentasi pelbagai sektor juga akan lebih tersusun dan saksama yang akhirnya akan memastikan kesejahteraan rakyat tetap menjadi fokus utama.
He said this when launching the Malaysian Population and Housing Census 2020 today. Malaysia and Singapore are expected to reach a firm decision early next month on the reopening of its borders under the Reciprocal Green Lane RGL and Periodic Commuting Arrangement PCA categories. Following fruitful discussions on the matter, Foreign Minister Dato' Sri Hishammuddin Tun Hussein said the RGL is to facilitate cross-border travel for essential business and official purposes between both countries, while the PCA is to allow residents from both nations who hold long-term immigration passes for business and work purposes to periodically return to their home countries for short-term home leave. Dato' Sri Hishammuddin, in a statement issued by Wisma Putra, said through the discussions as well, Malaysia remains consistent on the importance of both nations reaching a consensus, particularly in terms of standard operating procedures, SOPs and COVID-19 general health protocols. These are important to ensure the health and safety citizens of both nations involved in the cross-border travel. Hishammuddin added that both nations also held discussions on cross-border travel for daily work commuters from both sides and the possible full opening of the borders. Meanwhile, Wisma Putra also stated that besides Singapore, the government's cross-border travel discussions with countries categorized as COVID-19 green zones involving Brunei, New Zealand, Japan, Australia and South Korea were ongoing. The measures taken against illegal immigrants during the implementation of the Movement Control Order MCO were not discriminatory as alleged by a foreign news agency because they were carried out in accordance with the law. Home Minister Dato' Sri Hamzah Zainuddin said the move was also to safeguard safety and security in the interest of the citizens of the country.
Rakyat nak melihat supaya semua orang yang duduk dalam negara ini mengikut undang-undang yang ada dalam negara. Kalau mereka mahu bekerja di sini, biarlah mereka mempunyai permit dan juga dokumen yang sah. Bukan kita tak mahu mereka bekerja dengan kita.
He said this when asked to comment on the Al Jazeera documentary report titled Locked Up in Malaysia's Lockdown, criticizing Malaysia and its handling of illegal immigrants during the MCO enforced to contain the COVID-19 pandemic. Meanwhile, Peninsula Malaysia Immigration Services Union KPISM said the measures taken against illegal immigrants in this country are in accordance with the law, and the rules which have been laid down must be respected by all parties. Thus, its president Nur Hisham Murujan asserted that the facts presented in a documentary by foreign news agency Al Jazeera were baseless and allegations that the illegal immigrants' welfare was ignored were untrue. He said in a statement that the reports on barbed wire fences that were installed in the Enhanced Movement Control Order EMCO areas also included local Malaysians who were living in the areas. On top of that, he said the government was allocated quite a huge sum to cover costs of taking care of those in detention, including on their food, lodging and medical treatment before the Movement Control Order MCO was enforced. He also noted that the immigration officials had performed their duties and responsibilities well, especially those who were working at the depots, where quite a number of COVID-19 cases were reported. Nur Hisham also said that some of the personnel of the Immigration Department were ordered to undergo the 14-day mandatory quarantine to control the spread of the infection, adding that their efforts and sacrifices should be recognized and appreciated. Police have begun an investigation into reports on an alleged attempt by international news agency Al Jazeera to tarnish Malaysia's image through a documentary on how the country treats illegal immigrants in an effort to curb the spread of COVID-19. Bukit Aman CID Deputy Director Investigation Legal DCP Mior Fadila Ratrash Wahid said the department was conducting an investigation following the report made by the Immigration Department of Malaysia at the Precinct 7 police station in Putrajaya. The investigation papers were opened under Section 500 of the Penal Code and Section 233 of the Communications and Multimedia Act 1998. Investigations were conducted by the Kuala Lumpur Police Contingent. DCP Mior Faridala Trash said the police also received a report on a similar issue by a woman in Putrajaya around 9 a.m. today. According to him, the complainant made a report after watching the documentary video on the YouTube site, and a statement had been taken. Al Jazeera prior to this released a 25-minute and 50-second documentary entitled Locked Up in Malaysia's Lockdown that denounced treatments of illegal immigrants when Malaysia took steps to tackle COVID-19. Malaysia recorded a total of 2,649 cases related to zoonosis, an infectious disease that can be transmitted between animals and people as of June this year. Health Director General Datuk Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah said of the total, 1,484 cases involve leptospirosis, no-lacy malaria 1,156, Japanese encephalitis 7, rabies 2, while no cases were reported for brucellosis and Q fever. However, speaking at the daily news conference on COVID-19, Datuk Dr. Nur Hisham said if compared to the prevalence of zoonotic diseases from previous years, there has been a decline in the cases due to high standards of personal hygiene and the implementation of the Movement Control Order MCO in the country. Speaking further, Dr. Nur Hisham said the Ministry of Health also hoped the public participation in the prevention of zoonotic disease could be enhanced through high levels of personal hygiene and by regularly washing their hands with soap, especially after handling animals.
Lindungi diri anda untuk mencegah daripada digigit oleh nyamuk, pijal dan kutu. Yang ketiga, elakkan dari digigit atau dicakar oleh haiwan. Yang keempat, simpan, masak dan kendalikan makanan dengan cara yang betul dan selamat. Pastikan daging ataupun bahan mentah yang lain dimasak secukupnya sebelum dimakan. Dan yang kelima, pastikan aktiviti riadah atau rekreasi dilakukan di tempat yang diselenggarakan dengan baik serta dalam keadaan yang bersih.
World Zoonosis Day is observed on 6 July every year to commemorate the continuous commitment to prevent, control and eradicate, as well as raise public awareness of the diseases. Zoonosis can be caused by types of pathogens such as viruses, bacteria, fungi and parasites. It is estimated that 1 in 3 people in the world is infected with zoonosis every year. Commenting on the Sri Petaling Mosque Tabligh cluster, currently with only one active COVID-19 case left, Dr. Noor Hisham said the success was a result of the cooperation between all parties who detected and controlled the transmission among the participants. He hoped that monitoring of the cluster could be completed within a week or two.
Kita harap dalam masa terdekat, mungkin dalam tempoh seminggu dua, kita akan tamatkan pengawasan dan juga pemantauan kluster COVID-19 di kalangan Perhimpunan Masjid Sri Petaling. Jadi ini merupakan satu kejayaan kerjasama sepadu antara kementerian dan juga agensi-agensi yang lain melaksanakan tindakan untuk mengesan mereka, dan juga apabila kita mengesan mereka, kita akan melaksanakan ujian dan sebagainya. Dan kerjasama daripada jemaah tabligh pun baik, iaitu bekerjasama dengan Kementerian Kesihatan untuk tampil ke depan untuk melaksanakan ujian dan sebagainya. Jadi ini kalau kita bekerjasama dengan sepadu antara kerajaan dan juga orang ramai, nescaya kita dapat membendung penularan jangkitan COVID-19 dalam negara kita.
3 members of the Penang State Executive Council, EXCO, presented themselves at the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC office in Georgetown yesterday to give their statement on the Penang Undersea Tunnel project. Jagdeep Singh Dio, who is also State Housing, Local Government, Town and Country Planning Committee Chairman, arrived at the Penang MACC office at 9:30 a.m, followed by Chong Eng, Women and Family Development, Gender Inclusiveness and Non-Islamic Religious Affairs Committee Chairman at 11:23 a.m, and P. Boon Po, Welfare, Caring Society and Environment Committee Chairman at 2:30 p.m. Earlier, several MACC officials were spotted at a state government administrative building at the complex Tun Abdul Razak Komtar to continue investigations on the undersea tunnel project, which involves an estimated total cost of 6.3 billion ringgit. Last Friday, 2 MACC teams recorded the statements from some of the staff at the Office of Deputy Chief Minister Professor Dr. P. Ramasamy and the Office of the State Public Works, Utilities and Flood Mitigation Committee Chairman Zairil Kirjohari. Former Penang Port Commission Chairman Jeffrey Chew Gim Iem, who was remanded for 4 days from 1st July to assist in investigations over alleged corruption in the mega project, was released on police bail last Saturday. Pulau Pinang Chief Minister Chow Kun Yeow is also expected to give his statement. A total of 420,000 account holders in 290 areas in Petaling, Klang, Gombak, Kuala Lumpur and Kuala Langat will experience a scheduled water supply disruption from 14th to 17th July. Pengurusan Air Selangor Sungai Berhad Air Selangor Operations Head Abbas Abdullah said the disruption is due to upgrading works at the Sungai Selangor Phase 3 Water Treatment Plant LRA, which will cause operations to be shut down. The upgrading involves the replacement of several main valves in the network to increase the effectiveness of the system and to enable the LRA to run better. The water supply disruption and recovery period varies according to areas, geographical locations and altitude of customers' premises. Water supply recoveries in the areas concerned will begin on 15 July 9 a.m. and 48% of the affected areas is estimated to receive water supplies before 16 July 9 a.m. Air Selangor is expected to mobilize 91 water tankers to the affected areas, with priority given to critical premises such as hospitals and dialysis centres. Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin pointed out that Malaysia would be among the first to recover economically compared with other countries in the region or even developed countries. Tan Sri Muhyiddin said, according to the World Bank, in its June 2020 Malaysia Economic Monitor, Malaysia's gross domestic product is expected to resume growth at 6.9% next year. Although the World Bank projected the Malaysian economy to recover next year, this, Tan Sri Muhyiddin said, depended on the efforts and measures taken by the government.
Janganlah dengan sebab kerana birokrasi dan permasalahan yang kita hadapi di tingkat pentadbiran, maka negara yang ke belakang boleh sedia ke depan daripada kita dari segi proses pemulihan. They recover faster than we do recover. Ini tidaklah merupakan satu contoh yang baik.
Hence, the Prime Minister said the government has decided to review procedures at all decision-making levels, as some authority will be given to department heads and agencies to make fast decisions on applications and approvals. The country's largest electricity utility company, Tenaga Nasional Berhad (TNB), will expand the National Optical Fiberization and Connectivity Plan (NFCP) project nationwide to enable more consumers to benefit from the service. Communications and Multimedia Minister Datuk Saifuddin Abdullah said to date 5 states, namely Melaka, Perak, Penang, Kedah and Johor, would enjoy the high-speed broadband services by the first quarter of next year.
Dan bagi kerajaan yang paling mustahak ialah semua orang mainkan peranan masing-masing. Dan kita alu-alukan penglibatan TNB dalam bidang ini. Orang selalu fikir TNB dia bagi api elektrik saja, tapi dia juga muncul untuk membantu, dan pada kerajaan kita mengalu-alukan. Jadi bukan hanya telco tetapi syarikat utility seperti TNB juga main peranan. Pokok pangkalnya pada rakyat, dia tak kisah siapa yang provide the service. Pada dia dapat kemudahan.
He told reporters after visiting the NSCP pilot project Jasin, Melaka. To date, the NFCP pilot project in Melaka encompassed 1,100 homes in 3 areas, namely Felda Kemendor, Taman Merbau Perdana and Taman Maju in Jasin district. The open access services network for the NFCP project was being expanded gradually to urban and rural areas in Melaka, especially in areas with limited fibre optic infrastructure such as Alor Gajah, Malim Jaya, and extended to additional area involving 15,000 homes in Jasin. The government will review the process of applying for a halal certificate for the food industry so that the procedure can be simplified but still meet the prescribed halal standards. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department Religious Affairs, Datuk Dr. Zulkifli Muhammad Al-Bakri, said the business of obtaining halal certification for a food product should not burden the applying party.
Saya bercadang insya-Allah tuan-tuan, untuk prosesa masalah halal ini kita akan cuba permudahkan, bukan kita nak menyukarkan. Cuma kena menyempurnakan atau melengkapkan syarat-syaratnya, sebab kita faham dalam situasi PKP COVID-19 ini sudah tentu akan menyukarkan. Jadi itu juga salah satu daripada hal yang saya cuba ambil prihatin yang sungguh-sungguh.
He said this when asked to comment on those who use illegal halal certificates on food products and which confuse consumers, especially Muslims. Dr. Zulkifli said among the aspects to be looked at were related to the shorter waiting period following an application and reducing the documents involved in an application for a halal certificate. He said after launching the virtual halal school at Menara Arena Unity, Kuala Lumpur. 36 more national shuttlers reported back for training at the Academy Badminton Malaysia ABM in Bukit Jalil on Sunday, joining 16 others from the Road to Tokyo RTT program who had returned on 1st June. Everyone who returned underwent COVID-19 swab tests and were quarantined for 24 hours while waiting for their result. BAM Coaching Director Wong Chun Han said the main focus is to restore the shuttlers' performance and fitness. However, he admitted that shuttlers who reported on Sunday kept fit by training with their respective states and clubs, not like those from the RTT program who were returning to on-court training for the first time. After being out of action for more than 3 months, former World Badminton Junior Champion Goh Jin Wei has plunged into training to whip herself back into shape for the tournaments ahead. The 20-year-old shuttler, who has been struggling with injuries for the past few years, said she was excited to report for training.
That is a really good time for me because I can recover from my injury or whatever. I can fix my weakness, so I have ample of time to work on it.
Jin Wei will be out to improve her world rankings to boost her chance of playing in the World Tour tournaments early next year. That's it from us this afternoon. In our top story, census important foundation for country's development planning. Rakyat's full cooperation needed. Thanks for watching and have a pleasant afternoon. I'm Renee Fong.